And this is exactly what it sounds like. It is a legacy version of Flashpoint. And if you're not familiar with Flashpoint, it's an excellent co-op game where players are going to be playing as asymmetrical firefighters with different abilities and number of action points. And you're going to be working together to try and keep a fire at bay, but more importantly, to investigate different points of interest that could be different civilians that need rescuing. And then, of course, get those civilians out of the fire. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of images of the legacy version of this game, but if you do want to see what this game actually looks like, definitely go ahead and check out Rado's video where he does a complete walkthrough and final thoughts. I could show it in this video, but I don't want to just go ahead and take his footage that he worked hard on and then just post it up in my own video. So definitely just go ahead and check out his video if you want to learn more about this game and how it plays, and also to get an idea of what it looks like. But for this video, we'll just have to settle for the next best thing, which is a blurry image of the back of a box from 2011. But the way this game works is that players are going to be taking turns performing actions on their turn. There's a bunch of different actions you can perform. You can just move throughout the board, paying more action points to move through the fire and other areas that are more difficult to get through. Or you can also use actions to extinguish fire or to look at a point of interest to see if it's a civilian that needs rescuing. Whenever you do find a civilian, you're going to be trying to bring them out of the fire safely, but there are other hazards that you have to be aware of as well that could trigger in different ways and even cause explosions or different events to occur. After a player's turn, you're going to be rolling 2 dice, 1 black and 1 red, and then those are going to correspond to the different rows and columns out on the board, and wherever those intersect, that's where you're going to be putting a new fire token. Unless, of course, there is already a fire token there, and in that case, it causes a little explosion. Luckily, players do have their special abilities and might even have access to some different vehicles like the fire truck or the ambulance that can help the players along the way. But the legacy version of this game expands on every aspect and also takes you into a new environment, because in this version, you're going to be fighting forest fires. As the fire spreads throughout the board, you're going to be putting black tokens out representing the fire going deeper and deeper into the forest. And this is one way that you can trigger a loss of a scenario because the fire has gone too far into the forest, making it more difficult to stop. This legacy version is also going to introduce a bunch of new maps and scenarios, which can all have different and unique elements. And of course, your decisions, your successes, and your failures will carry forward into the following scenarios. This means that not only will you be able to upgrade your firefighters with different items and abilities, but also any damage accumulated on them will also carry forward unless you give them some time to rest, which means that you might want to take different firefighters on a following scenario so that your other firefighters can have a bit of R&R. What's also new in this game is that each turn you're going to be drawing a card from the fire deck, which is normally going to cause you to roll those dice and put out new fire tokens, but it can also have other unique effects or even cause nothing at all. But it can also cause you to draw event cards from the event deck, which can also have more elaborate positive or negative effects. But the beauty of all of this is that both of these decks can be modified with new cards being added and removed as you play throughout the entire Legacy campaign. So you do have some control over what ends up in these decks. A really great game here that you can play pretty much with anyone while still having a lot of strategy and fun decisions to make. And if you are interested in a legacy version of it, definitely check out this campaign. I'll have it linked in the description below.